everyone. Welcome to the 125th episode of the Sawdust Nation Podcast with your hosts, myself, Nap, from Nap's Naughty Works, LLC. We got Josh from North Country Woodworking, and then we got Nick over there sporting the Voltner Woodworking hat from MPG Creations, and his liquor cabinet looks weirdly empty. I don't know what's going on. Maybe some rearranging happening there. I don't know what's going on, but that's what he's got going on in his background. And if you're watching as a patron, you'll know that I've got my Total Boat hat on that I sent to me last year, because let me tell you, it's getting cold here. And my coffee mug from PWN CNC. So just letting you know, there's some of our sponsors, and Nick will tell you about them later. But let's go to jump into our shops. Josh, what's going on in your shop, man?
Absolutely nothing. Nick. No. Well, actually, it's not that far of the truth. I spent a lot of family time lately. We had a 4-day weekend, Veterans Day, and I decided to take that time and actually just spend it with the family. Something I normally don't do. I'll spend like a day or two with the family, and then I'll go in the shop and, try to catch up. But it was great. We got to spend time with the kids. We did a lot of fun stuff. Went to a football game. I mean, it was just fun to stay out of the shop for just a little while and, do the family thing. But diving in the shop, I finally got my my focal lenses in, all 4 of them. So I have a 1.5, a 2, a 2.5, and a 4-inch. And I've been doing some experimenting with those to kind of dial in some settings and whatnot. Supposedly from American Photonics, once you get their lenses in the tubes, he glues them in. So the only thing you should have to do is put it in and then use a AAA battery to set the focal length between the piece and your nozzle. So obviously I have to test that out to see, how that goes. And I'll report back hopefully next week about it. The goal with those is basically up my cutting game with the laser. If you ever did any kind of name plaques, I don't call them plaque signs, with the CNC, you realize that some fonts and whatnot are very difficult to actually produce a good piece with, and the laser, since it's a laser, can do all that fine detail. So that's the hope. Use the 2.5 or the 4. The 4 is usually more for foam and stuff like that, but we'll give it a go and see how it comes out. Be cutting MDF with it and see. But so that's going to be a little bit of experimentation going on with the laser. Passing that, I still haven't got paid from that one client we talked about last time. Keep sending reminders. They owe me $20. I still have a project of theirs that they want me to do, but they have not paid for. So kind of don't know what to do about that. I'm wondering if they actually wanted the other project, or they wanted me to give them a lower price, and they paid the lower price and they played me. So that's fun. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt a little bit longer, and then after that, I'm going to have to do something. Not quite sure what. Maybe talk to their squadron. I don't know. But I just got a massive order in for 300 ornaments, and we will be cutting those out and getting those going here soon. They're going to be 3 layers, and I say 3 layers. There's going to be a back, a middle spacer, and then a top acrylic piece. And in between that spacer will be housing a little bit of fake snow. So when they shake the ornament, they can, make it snow. So it's a little bit different. We haven't done anything like that before. It's a design I came up with. It's probably nothing new. I'm sure there's other ones out there, but I'm pretty excited about it because, we haven't done anything like that. And yeah, it's going to take a little bit of work, but we've learned a lot about acrylic and different things with the laser the last year or so. So, we're going to give it a go. So that's going to be a fun project. I still got that trunk I need to get working on. I'll be getting supplies for it here this coming weekend. It's going to be a lot of walnut and cherry going into it. Pretty excited about it. The only thing I'm really kind of not sure about and how to do, and I kind of plan for it, is the box joints. The finger joints, whatever you want to call them, they're going to be they'll be a little difficult because it's so large. I'm going to have to figure out probably a jig for it and
just use ratchet straps. I've proven this. They work.
Yes. For someone that doesn't like the router table, using ratchet straps on the table saw, it doesn't, I don't know.
But, it doesn't add up. I know. No. But I didn't ratchet strap the table saw. I ratchet strapped the two pieces to hold them together so they stayed upright.
Okay.
So I did the first one, and then you got to leave the one there to do your first.
Yeah.
I put them together and ratchet strapped the boards together.
Honestly, I can make it jig and just do a tall jig, and I can use clamps that way.
Well, I'm curious to see this tall jig.
Well, it's probably going to be one-time jig. I don't know. I've been asked about other trunks since, but no one's really bit on them. Just inquiries. But long story short, there's been a lot of people asking about different stuff. Nothing's really happened. I haven't got an invoice out to anyone that's wanted it. I'm working on some details so some clients to try to, get into that stage. But it's getting to that point where people want Christmas stuff. So, yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of that coming up.
Bro.
3D. Go ahead.
Have you noticed that all of a sudden, it's not like it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas?
No.
It's just one day people are just like, boom, I need Christmas stuff. Man.
I'm not quite there yet. Next year will probably be my year, but I'll talk about my stuff when I get to the shop.
Long story short, I'll be doing a security board for work. They charge each flight with like a basket. We're doing a wine basket, so I'm doing a small security board for that. Quick glue up and sanded and prepped and out. At least something I could do, and then I'm gonna put my logo pretty big on the back, so whoever gets it, they know who did it. What else we got going on? I got one of those 2-foot hammers. I actually got one of the coins here for it. I need inlay. They're asking about inlaying another coin. And I don't know if they thought I was going to do it for free or not, but $10 per inlay. Because depending on the coin, this particular coin for our Patreons, it's not just square or round. I have to do a little bit extra work for it. So that's kind of like the go-to with them. But looking forward to getting that complete. I'll be completing another 15-inch plaque that I messed up and just need to get back in the shop too. I got the glue up ready. I just need to sand it, throw in the CNC. But just a reminder, if you're painting and using, I don't know, like ash or oak or anything with a lot of, big grain to it, make sure you seal that before you paint it. Because if even you forget one layer, it'll mess the entire project up for you. So that was fun.
I think I know a guy.
Yeah. I think all done it. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but sealing is important, and make sure you get that done in each layer of the project.
Why?
So it doesn't bleed through.
Oh, so some people don't know that, man. I figured that out the hard way.
Well, I learned from, I think it was either yourself or AJ when he did it, and then I've been pretty good about doing it. And with this particular project, I actually sealed every single layer except for the one that bled through, obviously. So I was pretty upset about it, but it's my stupid mistake. It's good firewood now, and I already had the file prepped. I got everything glued up. I just need to do it. So we got our Patreons coming in, and greetings to them. But yeah, so long story short, got some Christmas orders coming in. I'll be doing some classics like the 2-foot hammer and some plaques, and still waiting for $20 from one of my clients. But
I got the 10-inch hammer over here.
Oh no, I gave you the 5 because I know that's what you could handle.
You hit me twice here. That's how
but other than that, yeah, it's going to be setting up our shipping station here and 3D printing. That's what I was going for. 3D printing, I still am completing an order placed by a good friend of ours. And I actually had to go in and redesign something a little bit to make it to their specs. I'll be printing that out. Curious on how that's going to come out. And I ran out of filament, so I had to go order some more. But I've been actually thinking about getting another 3D printer just so that I can double the speed if I start getting orders like I have been. Because right now I have 6 of these sitting right here, and this is for your 6-inch sander to be wall mounted. So you just screw it in, and then it mounts to the wall. It's pretty simple. I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screw holes in here so that you can basically do it how you like. And I use one myself. They work great. And yeah, I got 6 of those, and then adapter I'm trying to create here. But that's about it. It seems like not a lot, but I guess putting it out there, I do have a pretty good queue of work. I can't wait to get in there and knock some of this out. And side note, Victor from Wim Designs has been using the Prusa slicer, and I saw some of his results, and they were amazing. So good job, man. I'm really excited to see what you're going to do with that new slicer, and your printing skills are definitely increasing.
He told me he was doing a self-portrait on there. I'm serious.
Well, last thing I saw from him was Deadpool, so
he's going to start selling them at novelty stores.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't take your portrait. I don't think anyone would buy, but...
No, he said he's doing his own.
I haven't heard that from him. He's in the chat, so I'm waiting for him to weigh in.
I talked to him 2 days ago or yesterday. I can't remember. The days all bleed together.
You can. You can definitely get different scanning equipment that will 3D scan your stuff and make it into an STL file. There are people out there that have it, definitely on the gram. But I mean, for a good one, it's like $5,000. Obviously, there's everything in between. But yeah, you could definitely do it. There's people taking people's headshots, and they're putting it on like D&D characters and stuff like that too. So I mean, like, the technology's out there. You're just gonna be willing to pay for it. But enough about all that. Let's hear what's going on in Nick's realm.
Well, I'm not 3D printing myself like Victor, but I'm interested to see. No, I'm seriously interested to see.
Is it to scale?
No. I'm seriously interested to see what he comes up with when he does do that, because that's kind of that'd be kind of cool to have. Let's put it this way. If you walked into your house and you had like a pedestal with your bust sitting on it, that would be absolutely hilarious. And guests would love it, dude.
Like, is that a monument of you? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who made it for you? I made it for me.
Oh man. Anyway, so we're still in the process of acquiring a new shop with a house attached. So
that's all that matters, right? It's a shop.
I was over there at night, and I'm looking at putting in a sub panel. We haven't bought the place yet. We're still in the process, but I was definitely messing around with the whole idea. So working on it. I am fully saturated with ornaments, and shadow boxes are done. One is still in the queue. The customer hasn't paid for it yet. So once they pay, then it'll go live. But I have a flag to do. I have 4 flags to do, 5 flags to do. And that's going to be fun because it's going to be the cherry wood, like the black and cherry wood colored American flag, the subdued flag with the acrylic ornamentation on it. And then the metal nameplates. Those are pretty cool. It's just tedious for the building the ornamentation on them. And then I'm telling you, I'm building a coffee table. I started on that. That in itself is kind of a pain in the rear, because it's not like you just put like a top with some legs on it. This one is essentially a rectangle. All 4 sides are the same width. The like left side and right side that go up and down, parallel, that hold the top and the bottom to each other. Those are 17 inches long. 17 inches long. I got to turn that ringer off. And the whole, it's like 36 inches from left to right. Yeah. So my porn is now, I'm now a premium member of the hub.
Buy your membership now at Sawdust.
Oh man, I absolutely love that.
Only Sawdust and our, yeah.
You know what? For all our builds, we should aggregate them and build an only plans.
Hey, listen, that could be a thing. All right, onlyplans.com, where you can get all the woodworking plans you want for a small nominal fee.
You
monthly.
get to view them
You gotta
for a
subscribe
fee.
monthly.
You get to download them for another, and then you get to use them for
come
much
on.
more.
You get your teasers, okay? You get three free teasers, so you can look
Of
at
each
3
corner of
pictures,
the paper.
right?
I'll
And
get
then
you.
you gotta subscribe.
I'll give you
after the
plans
fact.
all the way up until like the finishing pieces, and then you have to pay extra. It's an upcharge.
Oh yes, all the way up until finishing. Perfect, just the way I
Gold.
like it.
But yeah, so Etsy hooked me up the other night. Not saying Etsy as like the company, but I got a couple Etsy orders overnight, and I didn't even realize it until I woke up. And so that's always fun.
So okay,
Those are
question.
easy. Yeah.
Well, sorry, Tim goes, "Why aren't we funding this?" But we should. You should. Patrons, help us out. Anyways,
Well, if it was something like that, you would have the Patreons chip in.
but they would get free access, you know?
Well, exactly. Insider access.
Yeah. What was I going to say? So when are you going to, like, push the pause button there? Because I was talking to an individual the other day, and they brought you up. I was like, so is Nick ever going to fix that thing? And there's no one you guys know. It was a random person. His name is Jason.
Fix
he
what?
doesn't have it. Huh?
Fix what?
You're avid. When are you going to finish your avid?
Oh, well, my pause button's when we move, dude.
Okay.
So that's my like I'm done taking. So November, I'm not taking any orders for December in November. Everything has to be done before December, and any orders. Well, I don't want to
potentially.
I don't want to jinx it, but hopefully, okay. But I still want to take December to my, like and not have to worry about turning stuff out when I got family in town. At that point, if I take any orders in December, they're going to be due for like mid to late January or later, which I would prefer later. Like I have that shadow box I'm waiting on the customer to pay for. That should be an April gift. That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've already talked to my customers that placed an order, like a GPC order. I told them, like, look, December's not an option anymore. We're going to go straight from January and I'll start sending those pieces out incrementally throughout January and February. So I'm doing my best to like maneuver. I'm going to shut my Etsy off in December.
Good idea.
And I know it's like tempting, like, oh man, it's so easy to get something for like make stuff that I put on Etsy, but I can't, I mean, like if I don't have a shop that's running, I'm going to have to actually not be able, not taking orders because I don't want the clock running when I'm trying to move. And then I'll be in the same spot I'm at now where I have a big old CNC machine that I'm not even using because it's not ready yet, But working on power supply and all that stuff, I'm planning on running lights. I'm trying to do it I'm trying to see which would be the best way to run lights. Because I don't know if you guys know this.
For the whole shop or for like, you're talking specifically your CNC?
For the whole shop.
Okay, because I've seen people do both.
Well,
cool.
So the way I have it now, since I'm renting, I didn't put a hardwire or anything in. And the reason for that is because I would have to rip it all out. The shop lights that I do have are the Harbor Freight ones. They're like $30 a piece, and they're LEDs, and they light my garage pretty good. But I would want better lighting throughout the entire shop in this next place. So
you've got a pretty, I would say, not a rare opportunity for most. Actually, we'll call it a rare opportunity for most garage shop makers. So, like, I know eventually you're going to go off to a bigger, better building when you're eventually making it big, with MPG Creations and you're not in the military anymore and all those things. But you have a pretty good opportunity to spend. I know you don't want to spend like a month, but like really outfitting this 2-car garage, 2.5-car, whatever size garage it is, to be exactly what you want. Like air filtration that pushes air outside instead of collecting in filters, all this stuff. So, that's like, what are your plans?
So my plans are to put a split air conditioning unit in there. This way I can work through the summer. But my plans are also to insulate the garage doors so that I'm not wasting energy while I'm running the air conditioner in the garage as well. I want to build a faux wall in front of the small garage door.
Okay.
This way it'll be like on a hinge and wheels. So if I need to use that garage door for something, then I can.
Your egress.
Well, I mean, say I need to be able to get through that door for some reason. I'm going to have it so the wall rolls to the, it closes in like a door, and then you can lift the garage door and get out. But I don't really foresee anything. I mean, the 2-car garage door, like the larger garage door, is going to be unobstructed. I just want the wall space, to be honest with you. I have lumber racks, plans for lumber racks and stuff like that all over the place. I need to, what's up?
So why lumber racks? I mean, can't you store the lumber somewhere else and that way free up your walls?
Well, the plan was to get rid of my storage unit because I keep materials there. So that faux wall is going to be, I want to say like 6 to 8 inches thick, so I could put sheet goods in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like just slide it in. It'll essentially be
like a sliding cart on your wall that you can slide big pieces of plywood in.
But I'll have it framed up to where sheet goods will fit. I don't usually have a ton of sheet goods laying around, but when I do, they're like so big and bulky, they're always in the way, or I have to move them to get to other things. And this way it's just slide it in and, let it set until I use it. I want to have, here's something that I must do. I'm putting the CNC machine and the woodworking tools, I'm keeping it away from the laser.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I want to, like, opposite sides of the room, because I want the laser to be dust free for the most, as much as possible. I also want to drill a hole through the entire wall and vent the son of a gun through the wall. This way I don't have to open the garage door to vent the laser. That would be magnificent.
It is.
I'm tired
absolutely.
Of it. It's raining. Who cares? I'll run the laser, right? Right now, I have the laser so far forward in the garage that if it's raining, I have to close the garage door. So I paused the job and I closed the garage door because I don't want to get the laser soaked. So the mini split will be the HVAC for the shop, and the lighting and the sub panel are my 3 big things I need to do. And the sub panel's the must, like right away, got to be done. I can put the split in anytime. That faux door that I was talking about, I can put that in anytime. That's low threat stuff. But I must have power to run things,
That's always nice.
So
I was looking. So the first thing I did when I'm looking at like a house, I go. My wife's like, I'm gonna go check out the master bedroom. I'm like, okay. I'm gonna go check the garage. And the real estate agents who work there are like, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean you gotta look at a garage? It's an empty garage. I'm like, no, it's not. Not in my head.
Not up here.
I need to visualize what's going on in here. And the second question I say is, all right, first off, where's the garage? Second, where is your power panel for the breakers? And if it's not close to the garage, I'm like, son of a gun. I'm done. That's all I got, man. I've been just rambling on now.
No, we actually want to hear you talk about this new adventure that you're going on. I mean, I know I'm jealous.
I'm halfway jealous just because I don't get to have like a final home yet. So yeah,
Oh, so I gotta say, you know what else? So my office is going to be across the hallway from where the garage is.
Oh, that's awesome.
And this particular floor plan. So, it's a pain in the rear to run up the stairs to make an edit on a design or send off an email to yourself or whatever. Now I can have everything close to each other. If I need to make an edit, cool. I'll walk through into my podcast room, quote unquote, it's my office, get on this computer, do what I got to do. And then I have stuff to network too. So I'm going to run the networking stuff, and it's easier to run it from it's easier to run it like over the hallway instead of down the stairs and to the other end of the house. Anyway, I'm exhausted, man. I've been looking at houses all week and trying to turn out products.
How about the Avid? Any more progress with that?
Yeah, it's no longer holding the 8-quarter ash that I was using to make the coffee table.
Very well. Okay.
So I'm one step closer to it being cleaned off.
Oh, you're making that coffee table out of ash. That's right. I forgot.
It's a nice piece of ash. Should listen to that episode.
It's going to be. Nice curves, too, from what I hear.
It's got a lot of knot holes in it, though, but I'm filling them. Don't worry.
I bet.
All natural or synthetic?
White epoxy.
Okay, moving on.
And there we are. There you have it.
I'll put quick and thick in them. Anyway, Nap, what do you got going on? Sorry, man.
No, you're good. So before I get into like my shop stuff, so while listening to what you're saying with your shop, a couple things. So for your heating and cooling, I would definitely hit up Stan at Lost Stan and Franklin, because he kind of like sells heating and cooling things. He probably could definitely help you find the best mini split you could probably get for your garage. He did for me anyways for the heater, and I'll tell you what, that heater. We'll talk about the heater in a minute.
How did you install it, or did you have somebody install it?
So I hung the heater, and I had the HVAC guy across the street come on over and hook a brother up. Oh,
it was just a heater though, right?
Yeah, just for that. I'm not going to need cooling here. The hottest it got while I was here was maybe 95, 100 on a bad day. But honestly, here in Minot, the 100 degrees here is way different than the 100 degrees in Texas. I will tell you that. You feel the heat, yes, but I'm not dripping sweat, as soon as I walk into my garage. So, it's definitely a lot different here as far as climate is concerned. But also going to your sub panel topic of discussion. So one thing about having a business is being able to write things off. If I were you, Nick, I would get a meter of some sort installed into that with that sub panel, so you know how much electricity you're using with your shop. So you can you'll have that bill to pay, but also write off how much you actually paid in electricity for your shop.
Yeah.
So maybe it's something to look into. Those are the small things we don't think of until after the fact. I know when I was running the stuff in San Antonio, I'd wished I had it. I don't have that opportunity now still because I own this house, quote unquote, but I'm going to sell the house when I leave. So, I'm not going to do all that stuff. But when I do have my own shop, that is something I'm going to look into, is having some kind of meter to tell me this is how much you used for this month, and then be able to record that and help maybe even put a utility, like a bill in my system saying, hey, this is your utility bill for, the month or whatever. So I pay myself that when I pay the bill.
Maybe I should just put it under a separate address so I get two.
I don't know if that's legal.
We'll find out.
We'll find out real quick when Nick is being audited. And
what's the CNC?
Yeah, right. But all right. So shop stuff. And then I'll get into more business and other veteran stuff that I learned about from Jason and another guy named Kyle over at Cox Custom Woodworks. But all right, so shop. Yes, it's Cox Custom Woodworks. That's what it is.
I didn't see nothing. Yeah,
I saw it in your face. So I got those heritage boards in the mail. They are on their way to San Antonio as we speak. My shipping department, i.e. my wife, was so gracious enough to drop those off for me at UPS, which that's been really awesome to have her to do that, because I know when I was at Lackland, I could do that stuff on my own and be able to, put stuff in my truck, get away, take it to the post office, because the UPS is right there on base. They don't have a UPS here on base. So, the UPS is all the way across town. So the wife is able to help me out with that, which is pretty awesome. In recent adventures, I'm making these mini shadow boxes. I can say that when I was testing, I want to say testing and hoping for for it to be a part of the final product. because I do that. Like I'll work on something and be like, okay, is this going to work good? Is this going to look good? And I start doing stuff and I'm like, okay, yeah, we're doing this. It's looking decent. And then funny thing about paint is when you try to use chemicals or anything to try to clean stuff up, it can make things messy. Well, this particular one, you guys saw a picture of this, and so did Matt over at Bolton Woodworking. One of them was starting to get jacked up when I was messing with it, as it seems to always happen when we mess with things. And I have this thing where if I feel like I'm going to spend too much time trying to fix something when I could just be redoing it, I dismantle it. Well, in my little bit of rage, I spiked this little mini shadow box frame, and it was destroyed. I spiked that thing. It shattered into millions of pieces. And I'm glad I did, though, because the process I've got now for the shadow boxes, it was night and day difference. Learned from a mistake, and then kept pressing forward. And on that, patrons can see the show and tell. So this is what it actually looks like now. There's a little wood grain texture in there because it is made of wood, of course. I told the customer, I said, hey, listen, the one you showed me obviously didn't have like any grain pattern. That's because it's probably, I'm starting to think it was made out of MDF. It's hard when you ask a customer, like, what's it made out of? And they're very vague. I don't really work with MDF too much, and I wasn't going to try to figure out a process, but I know how to work with wood. So I went that route. Now, the funny thing about pine, now I don't use pine generally. Okay. I honestly hate using it, but after using hardwoods for so long, working with pine was extremely easy because it's a very soft wood. It's, I will say, very malleable, we'll say. So don't drop it because you'll screw it up. And I had a guy drop off a bunch of extra pine lumber. And in searching in that pile of lumber, I found this perfect piece of, it's like a countertop pine, a joined pine like countertop thing that he was using for his trailer. Well, he dropped off a big enough section that I was able to strip it out and make the shadow box frames, which I've had stories and stuff put up on the old IG that people have gotten to see. So we'll say that my material cost is not in lumber. My material is, in fact, free, including the 1/2-inch backer that goes on all of those. He dropped off like 2 4x8 sheets of 1/2-inch plywood that I'm like, sweet. Like, and I asked, you want any money for this? He said no, because he was trying to get rid of it. So he just dropped it all off to me. I was essentially like the dump for wood, and I was like, I'll take it all. Cool. So I have all this extra pine lumber that I can use for building stuff and whatnot in the shop, which is awesome. But for this particular project, it's not actually, it doesn't affect my bottom line as much with lumber. But as far as the materials that go into it that do affect the bottom line, I got some engraving plates coming in. They're actually a brushed aluminum engraving plate that engraves black. So I'll be able to engrave it and it'll come out black instead of silver or brass like you're used to typically seeing. So that'll be neat. What else? I got the plexiglass, which is cool because we talked about wastefulness of plexi when you laser shapes out and stuff. Well, I had pieces that were left that were just big enough that I could cut my plexi glass out for these particular shadow boxes, and it was very minimal. I've actually got 2 full sheets still here because I had enough extra laying around to cut those out. So that was pretty cool. And then what else? Spray paint. Obviously, spray paint and finish, I think, is where I actually spent money. And then the flags and child medals, military children's medals. So when you go to a retirement ceremony, typically if the member has children or teenagers or whatever that were with them throughout their service, they'll get them kind of like a memento for them being a part of that journey. Well, that's what these are for. And the child's medal comes with a certificate and all these things, and it's going to go with the shadow boxes. So that's what that project is. That's due out and needs to be to them by the 1st of December. I will say that if you're a customer, give someone a solid date. And then when you have that solid date, don't change that solid date. Because it went from November 30th to November 21st. And I was like, hold on, dude. Hold on. First of all, you told me this date. And he's being funny. He's like, you got to read further back. I needed this date. I was like, no, this is what you said. And I screenshotted it. It says, this is what you said right here. I will say, quote unquote, bought myself more time. I can ship these out next week comfortably and they'll get there on time. So that's that project. And I got 4 quicker projects what's up?
I would like to amend your statement. If you're a customer and you need to change the date, always back, never forward. Let's put it that way.
Yes. Yeah, give me more time.
Always
not
to
less.
the right, never to the left.
Yeah. Like, I was just like, because they put you in a frenzy, right? You're like, whoa, hold on. I was tracking this date. I start processes a certain amount of time out. Like, don't do that. Just don't do that.
Stop.
Yes.
Stop what you're doing.
So let me talk to you real quick. Let me tell you why.
Come here,
this is
friend.
not a good
Come
thing.
over here.
just come here. So that's that project. That will be done. I'm actually currently waiting on. So in watching, we'll say some footage. We're normally used to using Aura Mask for our projects to do two tones. Well, in watching said footage, I was enlightened to possibly using a different medium. It's called Avery Vinyl Stenciling Mask or something like that. I'm going to try it out, see what the all the buzz is about it. If it works out good, cool. I'll promote that as an option to use. If not, I'll say, yeah, I don't know what this person was thinking, and I'll continue to use Aura Mask.
Is that like Aura Mask for adults?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely it is.
Just make sure that I'm on the same page.
You gotta be a qualified maker to use this product.
Yeah, you have to be an adult, all right, to use this stuff.
Well, I can show you how to use it. I can show you how to use it now. It'll just cost you $75 an hour.
$75, cheap.
Yes, the shadow box is pine, Victor. You wouldn't think it is, but I make pine look good. All right, I don't like using it, but I'll make it look as best as I can, right? Yeah, right? I hate painting wood, by the way. Just putting it out there. I'd rather use hardwoods and use natural color and oils and stuff to finish, but they didn't want that, so I did what the customer wanted. But I got 4 other, we'll call them quicker jobs because they're not as, we'll say, it's not as detailed. That's not the right phrasing. They're not as involved as far as testing and development. The only thing that might be a little different for me is acrylic. So one of the jobs I'm doing, taking a page out of Nick's book here, because they couldn't give me, we'll say, a pennant fast enough or one smaller because the pennants are like 27 by 20. And that's an enormous plaque to mount that on. They want it on the plaque. So they're like, well, can you make it out of something different? Like out of wood, metal? I was like, well, I can make it out of acrylic. So I'm going to make an acrylic pennant for this thing. It's going to be yellow, blue, black, and all this stuff. And I'm going to use the 3M backing that Nick uses, which I think that was a game changer when it came to attaching acrylic to things. So I'm pretty excited to do that. But also, there's another thing. There's a logo that they use that's actually, it's going to be interesting because I've never done the acrylic thing. And I'm going to do the different color pieces and all that stuff. And I'm going to stack it in. Like you've seen a couple folks do on Instagram. They'll do the different colors and they'll place the pieces and it looks all cool and whatnot. So there's that. And it'll have a coin rack with it.
They do the thing with things and then makes it look cool. And yeah,
I'm trying to be as, we'll say, open about this as broad as possible because the person may listen to the podcast that's receiving this. So yeah. They don't know exactly what it's going to be, but they've already known kind of what's going into it. They just don't know what the actual product or end item is going to be. And then I got another acrylic job. It's going to be acrylic on cherry wood. It's going to be, now we can't do the whole trademark thing, right? So we can't steal logos, but you can do logos. So the person's a huge Chargers fan and they're recruiters out of LA. So they have that logo, but with their own stuff on the bottom. There's a team name that goes on it for them, their specific team. So I'm actually going to change the Chargers portion and turn it into what their team name is, and I'm gonna put that on a plaque, and that's going to go to go there. And then I have another going away for that chief that I made of the flag for. So the Chiefs group here commissioned me to just do another small plaque for them as a going away from their group. And then I got Ben over at Beach Time Woodworking. He's actually commissioning me to make a coin rack for his son-in-law, who recently received, I think, one of many to come coins from the military, and he wants a coin rack for him to display those. So I'm going to help him out, make a coin rack, and send it his way. And then on the forefront, I got those other 2 big shadow boxes that I haven't even really taken a thought to yet. I mean, the Hap Arnold one, that's really going to be a no-brainer. because I just got to get Hap Arnold wings and, make the shapes on the CNC, make the facade. It's not going to be too big of a deal. No different than any Chevron box that I've made. And then I got the one for, obviously, the one that for the guy that works with Nick and who I used to work with. But yeah, so there's that. I got a couple other long-term, I call them projects, because I haven't batched out, like, okay, these are the immediate jobs. These are my midterm, and these are like, I can get them done whenever. But the get them done whenever jobs have actually decreased a lot, thankfully, because I hate having all those jobs on the list and being like, man, I can't do anything with them. But that's what's going on in the shop. As far as the heater and those things, I was going to talk about it real quick. So it's been getting negatives here, or feels like negatives. I did see my first negative number the other day. I was like, oh my God. So it is currently 2 degrees here in Wyandotte, North Dakota, with a wind chill making it negative 12. That's the real feel here. But my garage does not feel like that. My garage is currently 55 degrees and holding. And the heater kicks on very rarely, which is really nice. I was able to seal, and Nick, this is a little tidbit for you when you're doing your sealing and whatnot. They're probably going to finish with drywall and everything, which would be cool. But if they have any 2x4s or anything that make up like your garage door frame, like they did here, check the seams or just put that foam insulation, because I was noticing, I was like, why is it getting so cold in here so fast? Like it shouldn't be. I insulated everything. There's a split between one of the beams. It's all the way across, and it was bringing a draft in from my garage door. So I had to seal all that off, and that has made a load of difference. But as well as weather stripping. So I have to get an inch thick or inch wide weather stripping. I currently have a 1/2 inch. And when the wind hits that door, the door actually pushes in, and the air comes through the top. And I'm like, oh, come on. Like, I can't win. Like, I'm trying to keep
the weather
this thing
stripping on the
climatized.
outside or the inside?
Outside, because if it's in the inside, the garage door will jack it up when it opens. At least that's the way they have it now. If there's a better system, I'll probably find it. But right now, it's not a big deal, but it's definitely something I need to look at. But that's what I have for the shop.
I still have to make, so I got to make one ornament tonight. It's like a prototype.
One.
The file's done. It's just got to run. So I'll set it and forget it, put the camera on it, and go relax and watch some TV, because I'm not going back into the shop today.
Probably a good idea to take a small break,
Small breaks.
Okay, so Nick, you're about a year out, and then
From Skillbridge, yeah.
Yeah, from Skillbridge and whatnot. And then, I've got 6 years. And Josh, how long would you say you have left in the military?
If we're going from Skillbridge, it'd be like 4 years.
So you guys are obviously, Nick, way closer. Josh, you're closer than me. I'm the furthest one out from getting out of the military. But I was talking to Kyle over at Cox Custom Woodworks, and he brought up a couple interesting things. And every time I say your name, Kyle, on here, your IG handle, so I'm just going to call you Kyle now. So he brought up some good stuff. So we were talking, just laser, come up business. By the way, his story is very similar to many of ours. It's funny because when he told me his story, I was like, that's very similar to like how I came up as a woodworking shop, and everything started with like, these tools, and then bought a bunch of other tools. Like he got his saw stop, he got all these things, he placed everything with, bigger, better toys for the shop.
Did he have a friend that made him spend money though?
I know I didn't ask him that, and I might have to ask him and see, maybe that would be funny and actually very coincidental. But he mentioned something because he got out of the military, and he did a couple programs, and one of which kind of it was like one of those like light bulb moments. And this is good information for you, Nick, especially because it really will benefit the business. So there's this thing called EBV, or I've had an entrepreneurship boot camp for veterans. So it's a class. Okay, it's a 30-day online class from what I've read. It's for post 9/11 folks. And when you take this class, it gives you a lot of good information, right? Good stuff for running a business. We always can learn more about running a business. Mm-hmm. Well, that was one of the options that he told me about. But the really big plus side of this is when you hear about dollar signs, money. So he said that after he took this class, it opened him up to a bunch of different veteran business grants. And if you know just as well as I do, grants are something you don't pay back. Mm-hmm. Now, I won't say how much money he's received from these grants, but I will say it is substantial for a small business. And for one like ours, coming out of the garage and whatnot and doing those things, I can say that when I get out of the military and I'm in this program exists still, which it should, I hope, it's definitely good to help propel yourself further into the business realm after you leave the military. So that's one option. But other areas he said to look in, there's a thing called Boots to Business. It's another good thing for veterans transitioning out and starting their small business or continuing the small business, right? Because we're already in the works of creating our successful businesses. I'd say we're pretty successful now, but we'd be more successful leaving if you have the information, right?
Yeah. Well, more time and stuff to work on our actual business versus having it be we artificially don't grow our business. Let's just talk about that for a second. Like, we cannot grow beyond our main job or our family. We can't make it where basically, if we could take all the orders we wanted consistently, we could grow these businesses beyond what they are now. There's no doubt. I mean, you can see Nick's starting to do it now because he's on his way out. But we have to artificially stunt the growth so that we can maintain the balance between our main job and our family and everything else as well. So that is an art form on its own. And we've talked about this, we've talked about it on other podcasts, but I mean, like, knowing that you have potential to grow and not allowing yourself to because you're trying to keep within that realm of balance, it's hard. And I think that would be a great topic to talk about. Grab some people that have an LLC, that have a main job, and do a podcast just talking about that. And then, like, stuff they do, like what you're referring to as far as like programs from leaving the military and then how that can propel you, and just different things from, like, have a whole podcast being like, why create a business, which business should you do, and then just avenues you could take and how to manage and balance. I think that'd be a great episode that we could do here in the future.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that, and I hate saying that, but to piggyback on that, right? So talking to another guy named Jason, I had a 3-hour conversation with him last night over the phone. He had a bunch of questions, just like lasers, CNCs. He's got, we'll just say, like, he's like, I dabble in the 2D realm, but he's trying to get into, like, the obscure, like, I'm going to make, like the Dungeons and Dragon dice, not saying that's like what he's making, but you know how, like, they're like the multiple sides. He used a word that I can't even repeat because I don't want to sound dumb trying to say it, but we'll just say a lot of sides. He's trying to make 3D work with multiple sides, learning the angles and things. He's like, if I can do that stuff, I can do anything. He's like, I want to be able to have someone come to me and say, can you make this? It's not a matter of, well, let me see. It'll be yeah, I can do that, because he's already explored and done all the testing, the research, and all the stuff to do that. But one thing Jason did say, which did strike as really good feedback, is we talk about certain things like business stuff, how we operate our machines, processes and things. And sometimes we drop off, and, like, that stuff's great content, like good stuff we could talk about, i.e. the business side, leaving the military, or different things on how to run your business. So yes, I would say making an episode on that would be awesome. And it would fall pretty much in line with feedback that we've received thus far, is just being able to continue on with certain conversations that we've maybe cut short. So I'd be pretty excited to talk about the business stuff for sure.
Well, we think we cut short because we realize, like, let's face it, this entire podcast, there's people out there that don't have a laser. They don't have a CNC. You know what I'm saying? And we want to make sure that we hit on other things that are not necessarily, we do hit on almost every episode because that's what we have and use. But I think we should do, we talked about this, I don't know, a couple episodes ago too, some specialized episodes. Maybe open them up for everybody, maybe just for our Patreons. But that way, if it applies to you, if you have a CNC, we could talk all CNC. You know what I'm saying? We could talk one episode, all lasers, one business, growth, and then, like, work-life balance. Just, I think those would be good episodes. And if you guys out there are listening and you're like, yeah, I really want to listen to that, let us know. Hit us up. Send us a message. If there's a topic you really want us to talk about, you have to let us know. That's the best way to get that out there. So, yeah, man, I think you're hitting us some good stuff there.
And Jason, he got military and whatnot, and he drives packages and whatnot. So he like drives for Amazon. And I will say, he picked up our podcast. He said he listened to every episode of our podcast. from start to finish while driving, and he's like,
I'm sorry,
hey,
dude.
No. There was one episode he brought up, and he said, "You almost made me crash my damn car." I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Yeah, the episode where you and Nick started arguing about the saw stop. I tell you what, if you guys were in the same room, you guys probably would have thrown hands." I was like, "I don't know if we would have gone that far, but yeah, we were definitely getting."
Did
into
we
it about
ever
the damn
resolve
saw stop.
that, or did you guys?
No,
just
I don't think
agree
we
to
did.
disagree?
And we'll agree to disagree on that topic. But he goes, "Dude, I was laughing so damn hard, I almost crashed my car." I was like, that's awesome. But what that goes to show is we're providing a good content and also giving a good laugh through our, we'll say, disagreements and or agree to disagree moments, which I think is pretty awesome. But in talking to these two individuals, one thing that I've noticed, and you guys have probably gotten this too, like people reach out to you, we affect people. Like as far as like what we talk about, we definitely help folks. So I would love to... Nick, pictures of your fired shots. He's like, how to build a CNC. I would love to listen to that episode.
Damn.
But yeah, it's crazy, right? Because that whole community thing we talk about and how we help everyone out, it just goes to show like people do actually, when they listen, they look up to what we're saying and those things. And it's cool that we provide good information for them. And that they feel, that they can reach out to us. I think it definitely makes this thing, being a maker, that much better.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that's part of the definition for us, helping our community. I mean, like, if we were just doing this in the shop and we're just BSing here on the podcast, I don't think it would be the same. Because, I mean, like, the patrons that we have, even in the chat now, we've known. I mean, we've met or we've worked with in some fashion or some way. I mean, we have inside jokes. I mean, we just heard one.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, that... being a maker, that's what it is. It's being part of the community and helping in any way we can, and then making crap, good stuff.
But
cool.
I think we can get ready to start wrapping this guy up. Yes.
Okay.
Guy or girl.
Unless y'all got anything more.
I'm gonna do this a little different. So I don't know if you guys know this or not, but at one point in time, I was in the Guinness Book of World Records, and then I got kicked out of the library. So.
And Nick's comedic relief is amazing. That was other feedback I got. Like Nick's jokes are by far the highlight for many of the episodes at the end, and it just leaves you with that funny chuckle, haha. Especially those types of jokes. How's that micrometer working out for you? I mean, was it, is it good?
To be honest with you,
did you break it?
I maxed it out. It doesn't go any lower.
Side?
It doesn't go any lower. Oh my gosh. Well, folks, like always, we love our patrons. We love interacting with you online and throughout our podcast, throughout our lives, all that stuff. Thank you for your support. It's what you guys keep the fun going. You put the fun in podcast. So we appreciate you. Hopefully we are keeping up our end of the bargain and bringing you the content that you want. Next up, we want to thank PWN CNC. Daniel over there is the reason this podcast is being broadcast in 4D. So, no, not 4D, but Daniel over there is our main sponsor. And check him out at pwncnc.com. If you want 10% off your entire PWN order, use promo code SAWDUSTNATION981. Tell Daniel that we sent you. And next up, we want to thank Total Boat for their continued support. Again, if you want 10% off, hit us up. We'll hook you up with the promo code. It's a secret. Get in that boat. Once again, hey, our affiliates, if you're looking for a laser, and consider OMTech. They've got the most bang for the buck. I know Josh has one. I have one. And a lot of other folks. Matt Voltner is looking at getting one.
I have a pseudo OMTech.
Who else?
Just put a sticker on there.
Trey just got one. I mean, there's a bunch of people who are switching over to OMTech because, I mean, you can't beat the price and the function. I mean, it works really well. I swear by them. But yeah, let us know. We can try and fit you for a laser. And next up, but not least, makerstock.com. So you guys are awesome. And if you want 10% off your initial order at makerstock.com, use promo code Sawdust 10. Yeah, now Nap's going to tell you a little bit more about
podcasts and podcast catchers and catchers in general. No, so Nick kind of took part of my stuff. Because if you want to reach out, and give us feedback, you can reach out to Josh. I'm stealing part of Josh's, so I'll leave it for Josh. But if you listen to us on Apple Podcast or Spotify or Pandora, which coincidentally we have a very small percentage on Pandora, and I did find out it was more than likely Jason, because that's what he listens to us on in all of our episodes and his driving. And any other podcast catch, give us 5 stars. Let us know how we're doing, even if you gave us those 5 stars. But if you give us anything lower than that, give us the feedback, because like Nick said, our end of the bargain is giving you content that you deserve. And the only way we do that is if you tell us what you want, what you really, really want. But if you want to get a hold of us, Josh, how do they get a hold of us?
Well, it's easy, folks. If you have Instagram, go ahead and get a hold of us on Instagram. We'll the Sawdust Nation Podcast. Slide in our DMs, and we'll try to get back to you. You never know who's going to answer. It's half the fun. But if you want to reach us individually, go ahead and do that by reaching out to Nick at MPG Creations, Nap at Nap Snotty Works LLC, and myself, Josh from North Country Woodworking. We also have our Gmail account. So if you're not really, hip to the jive on Instagram, go ahead and send us a email. Shoot us the same thing. Talk about topics, what's in the shop, questions, whatever. We'll answer you back as soon as we get it, or as fast as we can. The best way to be part of the podcast is be a Patreon. The Patreons here in the chat tonight. Hopefully they're having a good enough time, because we're having a great time having them on. And they could be a part of the podcast by, inside jokes, topics, questions, you name it. And that's the ultimate way to be part of this podcast. So thank you to our Patreons. And with that, let's go with final words, starting with Nap.
Just like always, folks. No, but really, so we talked quite a bit about a bunch of stuff. With all of our shops and, people reaching out and whatnot. Just keep being that person that someone reaches out to. You can give them a hand because, honestly, you can make an impact on whether a maker continues making or not. That I do stand by. Don't be the person that shuts someone down, and don't charge for everything that you do. It's just weird. Don't do that. Sometimes.
We're all friends,
but not all the time. But yeah, just keep taking care of each other, folks, because that's how the community gets stronger. And I'm going to go toss it on over to Nick.
Well, folks, like always, take care of yourselves and each other. And I know we've been talking a lot about me moving and real estate and all that jazz. Well, if you're looking to put a new lawn in, which we're always trying to get the best grass we have, we can have for our presentation. I don't know if you have that HOA or whatever. Don't go with the Bermuda. Don't go with the run-of-the-mill grass. Go with the grass, because it'll cut itself. Josh.
Most excellent.
Thank you for joining us for the 125th episode of Sawdust Nation Podcast. Turn us on when you're making a cup of coffee, making breakfast, on your way to work, in the shop, out of the shop, in the gym. We don't care. We just want to whisper in your ear and talk shop. So with that, go make some sawdust, and Sawdust Nation out.
No more mustache rides.
I know, it's weird. Your mustache is gone. You're like a whole different person,
Well, the mustache was a whole different person.
I mean, it did bring a whole different, aura to the podcast. It's missed.
It was my Ron Swanson wannabe look-alike.
That's what we need on the podcast.
That would be badass.
I'm sure that if we had enough money, we could pay him to come on the Cup podcast.
I'm sure if we asked him, he would say no. But, we could definitely still ask him.